Hi everyone, I'm Purple Celery. Welcome back to my channel. In case anyone is wondering where I am, I'm just at my partner's parents' holiday house having a few days off over the Easter break. Long-term viewers might know that this is actually the same place where I made my very first YouTube video way back in 2017. I recall that was a review of the Peter Capaldi episode, The Pilot. So wow, been 5 years, what do you know? Anyway, let's move on to today's video, which is about the legend of the Sea Devils, the 2022 Easter special and the second last episode with Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. I'll start by talking about the good things about this episode, and then I'll move on to the things that I struggled with a little bit. Overall, I thought this was quite a fun episode. I particularly enjoyed the setting of 19th century China and then I guess some 16th century China. I do like how in this recent era the historical episodes have moved away from the same old bog standard 19th century / Victorian era England. I do like how they're exploring other locations, other countries, other periods in history. The costumes were spectacular. I really loved Jodie's jacket that she was wearing this episode. I also liked the Sea Devils. It was good to bring back an enemy that hasn't been brought back before. I also thought visually the Sea Devils were spectacular. Another thing too that I liked about this episode was the use of the TARDIS. I'm really glad that we actually got an episode where the TARDIS was integral to the plot. That is where the Doctor and Yaz use the TARDIS to go back 3 centuries in time to pinpoint the spot of the treasure. The underwater scenes too with the TARDIS were amazing. They looked so spectacular. They really evoked a sense of joy and wonder. And I also enjoyed the sword fights. They were good fun. But unfortunately, this is where I have to stop with the good aspects of this episode, because I felt overall they were outweighed by a few flaws that this episode had. So my impression generally was that this episode was a bit underwhelming. I just felt like I was expecting a little bit more from a special. If this was like a regular episode, you know, maybe, but as a special, yeah, it just fell a little bit short for me. As with some of the recent Flux episodes, this one just felt choppy. It jumped around quite a lot. It felt like there were chunks missing out of it. I don't know whether that was because of the writing or the editing or a bit of both. But when this episode finished, I just had several questions. For example, what was the deal with that giant sea snake monster thingo? Like at one point, it seemed as though that was that had swallowed the TARDIS, but I think it didn't. And then it kind of like disappeared at the end, and I don't know where it went or why and how it was significant to the plot. Also, the whole keystone thing, like where did that come from? Why was it so important? That just kind of went over my head. And also, why did the Sea Devils keep the 16th century captain alive for like 250 years? I mean, what was the point of that? Also, Yaz in this episode didn't really seem to do much except run around after the Doctor and moon over her. But anyway, speaking of which, let's talk about Thasmin. I actually had no issues with the scenes between the Doctor and Yaz, especially the last one on the beach. The Doctor essentially told Yaz, yes, I have feelings for you too, but I'm not going to act on those feelings because time is running out. Oh, birds flying overhead. And I can't promise you any sort of real future. And to me, that rang very true. I mean, the Doctor is such a selfless, kind and honest person that was the only plausible answer that she could give to Yaz. But I felt like that was kind of undermined by the next bit, where the Doctor says to Yaz, let's just live in the present moment. Fair enough. I interpreted that to mean the Doctor saying to Yaz, let's just be good mates, have adventures, etc., etc. But then she made a wish where she skipped the stone over the water, and she said something like, you know, I wish that this moment could last forever. But the moment in question was quite an emotional, intimate moment. And it just didn't really seem, I don't know, that just seemed to sort of like contradict everything that like the Doctor had just said. So I feel like if I was Yaz, I'd be like a little bit confused about what I was hearing there. Anyway, I'm assuming that this is kind of you know, put the Phasman thing to bed, metaphorically of course. I don't expect there to be any romance in the final episode later this year. Obviously I could be mistaken, who knows. So as regular viewers can tell, I have struggled with the last year or so of Doctor Who. Apart from Eve of the Daleks and a couple of the Flux episodes, I feel like it just really hasn't been my cup of tea. And at this stage, I'm really just marking time until Russell T Davies steps back into the role of showrunner. It really gives me no pleasure to say this, and if you have enjoyed this recent run of episodes, I am genuinely happy for you. That's great. But I'd probably give this episode, Legend of the Sea Devils, a 6 out of 10, and you know what? That's probably being generous. With the hindsight of a few hours now since I've seen the episode, you know, probably even 5 out of 10. Anyway, these are just my thoughts. I would love to hear what you guys thought of the episode, so please leave your comments in the comments section below. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see everyone next time. This is Purple Celery, over and out.